Hello, everybody. Ron Wildman in again for former Mayor of Macon, C. Jack Ellis, and we're going to spotlight the Pan-African Festival, which is coming up in a couple of weeks.
That's right.
And with us is Arizona White, and she's an ambassador.
That's right.
For the festival, which means you're a big-time volunteer.
That's absolutely right.
Good to have you with us.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Now, when is the festival coming up this year?
The Pan-African Festival is going to take place on April the 27th and 28th, just a few weeks away. Yeah. And it is going to take place at Central City Park.
This has been going on for more than 20 years. I remember covering them years ago. And so we're what, about 27, 28 years?
We're at 23 years, believe it or not.
23 years.
This is our 23rd year. You're right there
That's right.
in the ballpark. But this is the 23rd year that the festival has taken place here in Middle Georgia. And it is getting bigger and better every single year. So we're really excited.
When you mentioned Africa, it's for specific people, but it's not. The festival's for everybody, the whole community.
Right. That's right. It is a community event. It's becoming one of Macon's largest festivals. It is right neck and neck right there with the Cherry Blossom Festival, so we're really excited. We get folks that come from all over the country and especially the southeastern United States coming to the festival. So it's growing in numbers, it's growing in the activities that we're offering to the community, and it's just becoming really, really great. So yes, it's for everybody. It's a community event, but it does celebrate the influence of African and African American history and culture.
What's the attraction for folks coming in here?
Oh, wow. We've got so many things to offer. This year we are adding a food experience. It's called Africa to America Food Experience, and it is actually being hosted by the Museum of Food and Drink from Brooklyn, New York. So we've got folks coming from New York to host this exhibit for us, and it's going to be a day of food. So it's going to be a great experience. We also have a car, truck, and motorcycle show that is being hosted by the Old Timers Classic Cruisers Club with Sam Hughley. They are coming. They have their classic cars. There will be a contest, and there will be prizes awarded for the best cars that will be presented on that day. Then we've got dance and music and more food, and we've got African art, and we'll have some things for children in our children's village. So they'll have activities there for the children. And then we also will have local artists who will come and perform. We'll have singers and dancers, and we'll have a step show. We have the Fort Valley State University that will be there with their steppers and with their agricultural truck. So there's just so much happening this year with the Pan-African Festival. Also to include, this will be our third year hosting the Empowerment Experience, which will take place on Sunday. And this is an opportunity for folks to come in and have an open discussion about what's happening in our community.
Well, my memory of going years ago covering Pan-African Festival, a lot of sales items there too.
That's
booths,
right.
Different booths?
That's right. So this is an opportunity for vendors to display and sell their goods. You'll have people selling African art and jewelry, and you'll have people selling clothing there. You name it, it's there. Food, all sorts of, I think last year we had someone selling fried Oreos and fried ice cream. So it's just such a great day of fun and exquisite food and art and culture, and just a really good way to just celebrate family and community.
What brought those Brooklyn folks in? How did that happen?
Oh my goodness. Well, they heard about what we are doing here in Middle Georgia, and they thought it would be a great connection for them to come in and just talk about the journey of food in America, how Africa has had an influence even on the food here. And so they're going to come and talk about that history, and then there will also be opportunities for people to taste the food. So it's going to be really exciting.
We talk about Pan-Africa. What does that mean?
That's right. So the Pan-African movement, it started years ago, and it's a worldwide movement that encourages and strengthens bonds between all indigenous and diasporian ethnic groups of African descendants.
Basically promoting
those people from all across the continent of Africa to come back together and let's celebrate our culture.
And wherever they are.
And wherever they are. And we here in Middle Georgia, we celebrate the influence that it has had on the Middle Georgia community. And that was started this festival was started in 1996 by Ms. Chi Ezekwechi. She's a local artist and community leader who saw the need. She's from Africa, and she said, this is an opportunity for me to come in and just celebrate what Africans and African Americans have done and how they've influenced our local community.
Do you see the influences in our community?
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely. So everywhere you go, you can see there's an influence, whether it's from food, from our culture, even in religion. I mean, you see it everywhere. You can't get away from it.
Well, the promotion of it through the festival, as you said, is getting larger and larger.
That's
And it
right.
probably should have been going on for decades, but 23 years is good enough right now.
That's right. So it's a great start. And as I said before, we see it getting bigger and bigger. We're getting people coming literally from all over the country to celebrate with us. So we're just really excited about the impact that it's having, not just locally, but across the globe and across the United States.
The physical part of it, where will it be held?
It will be held at the Central City Park. The address for the park is 115 Willie Smokey Glover Drive.
I think everybody knows where that
Everybody
is.
should know where
Yeah.
Central City Park is. And then the actual food experience and the empowerment experience both will take place in our new Elaine Lucas Senior Center. So we're excited about the opportunity to use that facility. It's a great facility that will host those two events for us, so people can get in out of the heat and come over to those activities and have an opportunity to be a part of those new additions to the festival.
For the locals, just to get inside that senior citizen, which is a beautiful building.
It is very beautiful.
Right in the heart of Central City Park.
That's right.
It's wonderful. And the air conditioning will be great too.
It
I'm
will be
sure,
great
by that
because I'm
time.
sure it'll be hot on that
This
day.
is the last weekend in April we're
That's
holding
right.
this,
That's
just
right.
before May coming up.
That's right.
Now, what part do you have any particular part that you like?
Oh my goodness, there's so much to offer. I love the local artists. I think it's great that we have a lot of times young people who are just getting started. They get an opportunity to come and sing and perform. So I get really excited to see who's new on the stage. So that's really exciting. And then we have an awesome group, a dance group, African dance group that comes to perform. And they come and it's just such a grand affair. They're dressed to the nines and they're just very, very just on top of it, just dancing and just having such a great time. And a lot of times they would invite the children to come up and dance with them. So that really gets me excited. So I know it's an opportunity for families. And a lot of times we don't see opportunities for families to come together for activities like this. So I love to see the children, and you'll see generations of families there, grandparents and children and grandchildren, and just seeing all the friendly faces and everybody coming together in love, unity, and peace, which is what the festival represents. It's such an exciting part of it for me.
I assume you're older than 23. So we
Yeah.
didn't have this back when you were a little girl, but you are from Macon.
I am from Macon. As a matter of fact, I started volunteering at the Tubman when I was 14 years old. I went to Central High School. One of our projects, we had to volunteer at some place in the city, and I chose the Tubman Museum. As a matter of fact, that year is when the Pan-African Festival started. So I have seen this thing from its inauguration up until now, so I'm just really glad to still be a part of it. And I love the Tubman Museum. It's such a great thing that we have here in our community. It has such a great impact, and we just want to see it continue to flourish and to provide activities such as this and to continue to educate people about our culture.
When you started, though, you were at the original Tubman.
That's right.
Big
the little
difference,
small,
isn't it?
Yes, there's a huge, major difference. So we're so proud of our new Tubman Museum. It's just such a fabulous place, and it's amazing to walk through those doors to see where we started years ago to where we are now.
I could tell you a little more about the beginnings because before they even started ripping out what was in that building at the old place, I was doing stories on it for WMAZ.
Okay.
And all the way through as they were putting it together, and they got it together, and then that waiting period, well, the new Tubman was just sitting there waiting for financing.
That's right.
I don't know how many years it sat there,
It
but
sat
it was
there
a
for
long
a number of
time.
years,
But they
yes.
got it going, and it's one of the most beautiful buildings in Georgia.
It really is. It really is. And the great thing about the Tubman is that it is the largest museum of its kind in the nation. So we have something to be very proud of. It's the largest museum in the nation that educates people about African American and African culture.
That surprises me because there are museums for Black history all over the country.
That's right. That's right.
But we are the largest.
We are the
when
largest
we
of its kind.
educate.
That's right.
Facility.
That's right.
Now, the festival. How should we come dressed for this? Is this like a a costume thing or what?
Well, you want to definitely be comfortable. You're going to be in the center of the park, so by the end of April 27th and 28th, you want to probably be in shorts and a t-shirt. So you want to be comfortable. It's an opportunity for you to bring your lawn chairs. We encourage you to please patronize the vendors who are there. So we ask that you please do not bring food or drinks, but to please participate and patronize the vendors who are there. A lot of our vendors, they come from across the state, and some even from other states. So we want to make sure that they feel like it's worth their while when it comes to Macon. So we want to just make sure that we support them. So bring your lawn chairs, come prepared to buy some of those fried funnel cakes and jerk chicken wings and Jamaican food and all those things that will be offered at the festival. But bring your blankets, your chairs, bring your flip-flops and your tennis shoes and be comfortable, because a lot of times we get up and we're dancing and we're having a great time. So you want to be comfortable.
Now you're the ambassador now, but
Yeah.
years back you had different jobs with the festival.
That's right. That's right. So the festival is evolving. We started out as volunteers. It was actually started as a volunteer effort. Like I said before, Ms. Chi Ezekwechi, she founded the festival, and it was a volunteer effort. Everyone that worked on the festival from the very beginning were volunteers. Every piece of the puzzle, from getting sponsorships to getting the vendors to the performers, everything started out as a volunteer effort, which was a huge undertaking. And for years and years and years, we did it that way. But as the festival evolved and as it is getting bigger and bigger, the Tubman staff now has to take this on, because it is now really a full-time job to have this festival, because they do such a great job with bringing in local artists and even nationally known artists. So it's growing. So as it grows, we have to evolve a little bit. I know a lot of our volunteers, we're kind of sad to not have our hands in it as much as we used to, but we understand that as things grow, that things have to change, and that change is necessary. And so now, whereas I used to be the chairperson for the festival, I now serve as the ambassador, which is a great recognition and honor for me. I'm very proud to serve in that role. I get a chance to go out into the community, talk about the festival, encourage people to come out and be a part of it, and I hope that it continues to grow even bigger and better every single year, so that we can see that my grandchildren one day will be able to say we're on year 50 or 60. So we're really excited about the growth and the evolution of the festival.
Prior to that chair position, you held a lot of other jobs over the years, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
What were some of them?
Well, like I said, I started out as a 14-year-old volunteer at the Tubman, and a year after starting to volunteer there, they actually hired me as a little 15, 16-year-old. I was their director of children's activities, so I got up every Saturday morning and did reading and exciting activities for children. This is when the museum was really small and so forth, but it was a great pleasure of mine to be able to work at the Tubman. And throughout the years, I've stayed here in Macon. I'm a Central Charger. I love the Chargers. I love my community. And graduated from Central, went on to Wesleyan College. I'm proud to say I'm a two-time graduate of Wesleyan College. I got my bachelor's and my master's degree in business administration from there, and have gone on from there. I've worked at some local companies here, and then about 11 years ago, I started working in the real estate industry. And about 5 years ago, I started Gateway Realty Professionals. So I get the great pleasure of working with people, helping them to achieve the American dream right here in the Middle Georgia area. So
Talk more about that part of it, because Macon, the economy is rather booming right now.
It is.
I drive around everywhere and I see expansion and building. I've never seen anything like this before.
Right, it's amazing. It's amazing. I love to see the growth. When I see construction happening, when I see new buildings popping up and new homes coming on the market, it's just really exciting. It's an exciting time to be in the Middle Georgia area. There's a lot of opportunity here. We see a lot of people moving in from other states and other areas of Georgia. So they're starting to see that Macon is the place to be. Middle Georgia is the place to be. So we're excited about that. The market is really hot right now. It's a great time to be selling. If you are looking to sell a home, this is the time to do that, because people are definitely buying. And it makes me excited because it lets me know that our job market is improving. lets me know that people are saving and they're doing the things that it takes to become owners. You know, it's really important to not just, you know, you want to have a piece of the pie. You don't want to just borrow somebody else's pie, you know. So renting is fine, but I encourage people to become educated. Let us show you what it takes to become a homeowner, and you'll be proud that you did that because everybody wants something that's their own.
That's a daunting thing to think you're going to purchase a house. It took me years and years and years finally to get around to it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a wonderful experience.
Absolutely.
Like you say, owning a piece of the pie.
That's right.
And what do you advise people when they come to you?
Oh, wow. So I always start with a consultation. I want people to be educated. So I always talk with them about first, you know, have you reviewed your credit history? Do you know where you stand when it comes to your finances? So I make sure that they're educated about that piece first. And we have a great opportunity here in Macon with Operation Hope. That's something that our local government is offering to our citizens that is free of charge to them. And I see the impact every single day when I get people to come and sit down in my office. When they've had an opportunity to work with Mr. Harvey at Operation Hope, you know, they're able to improve their credit scores. They know how to budget to purchase a home or to purchase a car. And their finances are in order. So a lot of times, if they're not in order, I send them back to Operation Hope and say, hey, let me show you how to get these things in order so that when you purchase that home, you can hold on to it and not have to worry about foreclosure and those negative things that might come along if you're not properly prepared. So I make sure they're prepared first. And then once they are prepared, then I go through that process of making sure that we're able to give them exactly what they're looking for.
Is it hard to get with Operation Hope?
Oh, absolutely not. They are right there in the Buck Melton Center. They offer workshops and one-on-one counseling for people. So I am very happy that we have such a great resource in Macon because people sometimes just don't know what to do. And a lot of times you don't know what you don't know until someone educates you on that. And so it's a really good partnership. I'm glad that Gateway Realty Professionals, that we're able to partner with Operation Hope and to see people see change in their economic status because of that resource that we have here.
You run into folks who are surprised that they are eligible to be a homeowner and didn't think they could be?
Absolutely, all the time, because people just don't know. A lot of times people are, you know, the generations before them, they did not own a home. And a lot of times I meet people who are first-time homeowners in their families. So they just haven't been educated on the process. So we like to do that. Our company also hosts what we call homeowner boot camps, where we teach people how to become a homeowner, how to go through that process, and we'll have lenders that will join in with us and partner. Operation Hope has partnered with us in the past to just educate people, because I feel like education is so important because a lot of times people just don't know.
Now, in the past, you say they don't have a track record of families owning things. What about businesses, getting into business? Do you all ever get involved with that?
Oh, gosh. Well, yeah, a lot of times people do come to us. And as a matter of fact, one of my first companies that I started was a consulting firm to teach people how to get into business. So I get those calls and I get people coming to me all the time for that because people want to become an entrepreneur and they see that they have a gift or they have a product or service that will serve people well, and so they want to know, how can I do, you know, what can I do to get in business to make sure that I can serve the community in this capacity. So we do get those conversations all the time, and we've even hosted workshops on that as well. So yeah, so I do real estate, but I have my hands in a little bit of everything because I'm just really passionate about helping people. I really love to help people and love to see people better their lives and to just become educated on those things that they may not know.
When you look out there on Macon in middle Georgia, do you see needs where people could fill a niche in these businesses? Or if they say, well, I want to get into business, but I don't know what I want to do?
Yeah, absolutely. In middle Georgia, I see that, you know, we have a lot of booming businesses and we have a lot of new businesses coming, but you see around town, we have a lot of vacant commercial spaces. Our Macon Mall, for example, is one that kind of makes me a little sad. I wish we could do something to generate more business around that area. West Macon, we see a lot of areas where the business community is declining. So when people come to me, I try to encourage them, let's fill some of the voids in those communities. There's a lot of communities that don't have a grocery store.
That's right.
You know, so I can name 2 or 3 neighborhoods where they have to drive a distance just to get to healthy foods. So that's a major issue in our Middle Georgia area. When we look at educational support services, our children need someplace to go after school. We have many places that offer after school programming, but I'm sure we could use a lot more. So there are a lot of things that I see that are some things that we can improve in our community. And I do have those conversations quite often about what we can do to improve our community and to bring in some more resources and things where people can actually access information that they need.
I want to say something about the Macon Mall while we're talking here. I've gone back, I've had that exercise of need, and sometimes you just can't do it outside all the time. So I've gone in there for the past 2 or 3 weeks, and it's a beautiful facility.
It really
People
is.
don't realize, I mean, a lot of people have left the mall and haven't been back for a while.
Right.
Or they'll run in from the outside and not go in the mall. It is a fantastic place.
It really is. It's beautiful.
And me, like you and everybody else who knows the Macon Mall, really wish it well because it's a great asset to our community.
Really is. It really is. And I'm sure that someone's having a conversation. I think we probably need to have that conversation more about what we can do to save that place, because I really feel like there's so many things we can do, even if it is bringing in small business owners to start businesses, or even a business incubation center or something. I'm sure there's something we can do to make that place more vibrant.
How are the schools with educating folks about the economy and Macon in general?
Wow.
Which you've probably been through as a student first.
Right. Well, I can say from my own experience that, I think we do have excellent educators in Middle Georgia. They are doing a great job, and a lot of times there are so many pieces to the puzzle that sometimes they can't necessarily get to. I do see that there is a need for us to do a better job of educating our young people about economics and about history and culture. I know that the educators, I'm definitely friends of educators. I love educators. I champion them. But I do think that even we as community leaders, we can do more to partner with our school system to come in and provide some of those needs. I think it's so important that young people know about banking before they leave high school, that they know about how to purchase a home, how to get a mortgage, how to purchase a car. And I'm sure that there are some schools that are doing some of those things, but I think we could certainly do that on a larger scale. And I can certainly see where this would be a great benefit for the business community to partner with our education system to come in and provide some of this information that is needed. I can certainly see where there's a need for maybe even the Tubman to go in and educate young people about our African American culture and history. So I can definitely see where there's more room for collaboration and partnership in Middle Georgia. If more of us were able to go into the school system and support and provide some of the resources and fill some of the voids, I think we'll see that our students will be far above other communities in those areas.
I'm familiar with the Hutchings Center over there.
Absolutely, it's
I'm
fabulous.
On one of their advisory bodies, which
I am too.
We just come in maybe 2 or 3 times a year and listen to them tell us what they're doing. But their facilities are first class.
Absolutely.
They have everything you need.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned about finances.
Yes.
Mid-South Bank has a facility
It's
in
fabulous.
there for that purpose.
That's right. So that school is definitely on target with partnerships. I go in there and I see all sorts of businesses collaborating with them. Even their print center is amazing. I love to see those type of collaborative issues and situations happening. And I wish we could expand that. I know it's happening. But I think as business leaders, we have a responsibility as well to go into the schools and to actually offer more of our services and our time to make sure that all of our students are getting access to those type of partnerships.
Well, the Tubman is downtown. Central City Park is as much downtown as anything else,
That's
really.
right. That's right.
And Gateway, your offices?
It's downtown, right there on Poplar Street. I'm in the same building as Newtown Macon, so it's a great place to work. I love working downtown. There's always something exciting happening. So I'm just really loving what's happening in our downtown area. It's very vibrant, it's lively, and people are catching on. People are seeing that Macon and Middle Georgia, and especially our downtown area, is the place to be.
What kind of potential for businesses down there are available?
Oh, there's tons of potential there, lots of opportunities. Oh my gosh, I mean, there's just so much happening. I just encourage people to come in and become a part of what's happening and the transformation that's happening here in Macon.
What do you see in the next 10 years or so?
Oh my, oh gosh. Well, that's a very good question. I just see so much happening. Certainly, I see more millennials getting into business, and as I mentioned earlier, that business incubation center. I can definitely see us having some form of a business incubator where we are basically growing our own tomatoes. We're teaching young people how to become business owners and actually showing them how to do the day-to-day operations and all of that. So I can see Macon as a business hub for Middle Georgia, where we have young people, where we're just pouring into them and just having new businesses just coming all over this city. So that is one thing that is definitely on my radar, to see that happen and to have those type of discussions.
A lot of people come in with skills and they have a good idea. What is lacking usually when they have something that you say, wow, this could be great? What do they need?
A lot of people just don't know where to start. So a lot of times if you can kind of give them a blueprint or help them to start, a lot of times it will take off from there.
What would you advise somebody how do they start?
Oh gosh, well it certainly depends on what they're wanting to do, but we have so many resources here in Macon, Middle Georgia. As I mentioned earlier, Newtown Macon is one of those resources. We've got our small business center with our local government. There's just so many resources here. So I would say, start with one of those local entities that offers advice and resources, and you just never know where you can go from there.
Everybody taken seriously when they walk in with an idea like that?
Absolutely. If they come prepared. Now, if you're not prepared, then I'm not so sure that anyone will give you the time that you need to have those discussions. But if you're prepared, then certainly.
What do you mean by prepared?
Well, I would say that a lot of times I encounter people that have a bright idea, but have nothing on paper, have not really thought out the process, have not really thought out what, the financing piece. So you have to bring something to the table. You can't come and expect someone to tell you what you have to do from start to finish. You have to bring something. Bring something and show that you've done your due diligence, and then, I'm sure that, there's all sorts of help that can be offered in our community.
Talking to Arizona White, the ambassador for the Pan-African Festival, which is coming up on the last weekend of this month of April.
April 27th and April 28th.
Let's run down a little bit. When, where, what?
Okay, so the Pan-African Festival will take place on April 27th and 28th at the Central City Park, downtown Macon. We will have a car, truck, and motorcycle show on Saturday. We will have Africa to America food experience on Saturday as well. This will actually take place in the Elaine Lucas Senior Center. And then on Sunday, we will have the Empowerment Experience that will also take place in the Elaine Lucas Senior Center. And this is going to be a great discussion about things that are happening in our local community. We have local and statewide leaders and experts who will come and discuss all of those things, from agriculture, wellness, religion, social justice, economics. It will be a very, very powerful discussion. And then the highlight on Sunday will be the concert by Dorinda Clark Cole. She is a gospel artist, a nationally and internationally known gospel artist that will come and bring the house down on Sunday. So we're just really excited. There will be vendors there. There will be food. There will be, you have an opportunity to purchase clothing and jewelry and art. We'll have our children's village, and we'll have local performers coming to sing and dance and entertain you for 2 days.
What will the hours be?
We'll start at 11. The actual kickoff will be at noon. So 11 until. So we are there all night until the last performer performs. Some performers get really excited and they have us there to 10 o'clock at night, but until that last performer performs, we'll be there likely between 11 to 9 p.m.
You've seen all these festivals. How do you think this one's going to rank when it's over with?
Oh my gosh, every year gets better and better. So every year we say this was the best one, because every single year the Tubman staff and the volunteers, they do a phenomenal job of making sure that the current year exceeds the previous years.
Arizona, it's good to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I have really enjoyed this time with you, and I really hope that people will come out on the 27th and 28th of this month to celebrate with us at the Pan-African Festival of Georgia.
We're going to have a great crowd.
It's going to be amazing.
And for former Macon Mayor Jack Ellis, I'm Ron Wildman here on Middle Georgia Spotlight.